Thank you everyone. So the first question, Van Huasing, to you, because we, thanks to Stephen and to Jasmine, we looked into both parts of the world a little bit, to Europe and to Asia, from the perspective of Huawei. What is happening in Russia, and what is your perspective in terms of the development of immersive platforms here in Russia?
As one of the leading telecom company, we can see that Russia also occupies leading position in 5G area. Actually, in big city like Moscow, Petersburg, 5G will be in commercial in next two years maximum, right? Especially on the hot pot, like the arena, sport arena. In some places, maybe in next year you can see this kind of pilot zone in Moscow and Petersburg. Actually, the equipment is here, solutions here. Now the most discussing questions about frequency, because government need to give frequency as soon as possible. So actually it's political issue rather than the technical issue. Actually, we have very big hope that Russia will have massive 5G launch in the next 2-3 years, and will be the same level as you.
Stephen, quick question to you, and full disclosure, we as a studio license content through Iconic Engine and work with you, and we just signed our first deal and licensed an extreme sports piece to Deutsche Telekom VR platform, which is great news. But I'm interested to know from your perspective, what, like, we have Russian telecom companies in the audience. What is needed to do now? Why right now platforms are starting to look for content, for new content? Again, what's coming?
Well, I think, ultimately, it's all about the content. We can talk about distribution platforms, about 5G, but ultimately you've got to give people a wow factor experience on their device, in their headsets. Who knows, really, we've only just started to begin with sort of 5G networks and the implications of that. Businesses like ourselves will take the pain out of the integration, but ultimately we still crave amazing content from yourselves the world over. And our clients also are looking for new, fresh, sticky reasons to give people a reason to come back to Magenta VR, give people a reason to continue to use Orange VR experience on a daily basis. That could be games, 6 degrees of freedom content, or location-based experience.
Jasmine, thank you so much for taking the stage, because it's, from my experience, I've been to China, and sometimes it's really, really hard to understand how to do, like, how to enter this market, because the potential is huge, but you also need to do a lot of work with localization. So just to summarize for those who are in the audience producing content here in Russia, if they want to distribute in China, can they come to you, and you can help them to also navigate this really complicated
I do willing to help the local the Russian studios to enter Chinese market, and we also have have several good pieces from Russia already. They already enter into Chinese market, like Spacewalker and the other animations, Chumi Umi. They also they're licensed to the offline VR theater, and the revenue that they...
What types of content are they looking for? What do you think?
They are meant for the telecom company. They actually, like most of the VR video content platforms, they are licensing the animations, and also the travel experience.
Narrative?
And the narrative and the fiction, scientific, more educational experiences. Because
Thank you. Sergey, first of all, congratulations on the deal that you made with China Telecom. I understand that it's took you a very long time, and that's why I want a studio perspective. Jasmine was talking about the importance of localization of the content. For the studio, it's an investment. Did the investment pay off?
Well, that's a really good question, because we worked already for 10 years in the market, and we created a really large database with 360 videos, 360 documentaries, and entering the Chinese market was for us a good opportunity. We see it as a good opportunity, and we start looking for the ways how to enter that. And thanks to visiting a lot of different exhibitions, we met Жасмин Ли, and together with her, we start entering the market. So we start constructing the bridge from Russia to China, and each new step we are discovering brings us the new experience and new challenges. So the first, of course, that's the language difference, then the mentality difference, and then the interest, what is interesting to the Chinese audience is matter, and of course a lot of patience, because the big companies, yes, they like to discuss a lot of different issues for very, very long time. We had 3 to 5 big deals in China and also in Korea with LG company, and they all took us more than 1.5 years. So with the Huawei,
thank you for the time frame.
Yeah.
I think one last question. One question. There is a major and famous chicken and egg problem. So the platforms are building for the new audiences to bring them amazing immersive content. But in order to justify the investment, you need to see the audience numbers. But at the same time, you're not going to get the audience numbers without content. And so there is always this split who starts first. Is it the content studios that need to believe in this future and start investing themselves? Or is it platforms that need to support content studios, because without content you're not going to get the audience? Where do we start that? Because 5G is coming and we need plenty more content like that.
May I shortly answer, sorry? Because I'm investing in the content, and I created a lot of content on our own money. So we're trying to prepare ourselves to enter this market, to enter this 5G era.
You have your decision in the chicken and egg problem.
Actually, this question I discussed 1 week ago on our company CEO level. And the conclusion is stop discussing about chicken eggs. If you, in your hand, you have chicken, don't make chicken soup, right? To feed him, to let him have eggs again. If you have egg in your hand, don't make omelette. You make it a chicken, and the industry will grow up. So actually, is what we discuss and what we will do. So the lucky thing is that in this market about AI VR, you are not alone. Very giant company are coming to. They are devising company which not will be heartbreaking for them investment. There will be a telecom company like Huawei and others, and there will be telecom. So there will be company maybe 10 times, 100 bigger enter into the market. Some are seeking the roles as a device provider, some seeking the role as a platform. So I believe actually, so for VR, AR, you can take a brief step ahead to occupy a leading position to enjoy the next 5-10 years festival.
Do you see Huawei possibly producing original content for in immersive space in the future, exclusive for Huawei audience and immersive platforms?
If talking about the branding, for example, maybe, I don't know because of their decision, but it will be possible, only for branding. For example, in China, we already make some 4K and 8K movies, only pure branding things, right? Well as the orders. But the other ways, Huawei, we have 5G, which is 100 times faster than 4G. except that we have many smart devices, including our smartphones, glasses, watches, and all of us. Yesterday we announced our smart speakers, so many devices. And more important, we want to add to it's our chipset AI and our new server, new computing power, which will help to dramatically decrease the costs, dramatically accelerate the time. Especially, we believe in cloud AI, cloud VR, which will provide the computing resources, computing rendering. To the end user as the OTT, as the developers, as use platform and end user, because we see that in the future the devices will be massive. To be massive, it cannot be very expensive. It should be cheap, and this kind of ecosystem around Huawei, together with telecom, with all of kinds of players in the market, to make the market bigger and better.
Thank you so much for this answer. I think the last question for all the speakers, very quickly. So we all see how 5G is essential for the revolution in distribution of your AR content. But from your perspective, what is going to explode first, VR or AR?
Actually, for VR, AR, we also researched a lot. We just have, as Жасмин Li expressed in 1 or 2 weeks ago in China, very big VR forum. And internal our company, we also have discussion on that. We think VR coming first, but AR come bigger. This is our believing, because VR, the biggest of his ceiling is the volume of current media business. The current volume media business is not so big compared with telecom business, others. But AR will connect him everything. He's everywhere. He will help the health industry, he will help the media industry, he will help the telecom industry everywhere. So we call it the VR will come in better, faster, but the volume is limited. AR a little later, but he will change everything and the volume is very big.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Stephen, the same, just quickly.
I'll sit on the fence professionally and go XR, sort of amalgamation of both, but purely from a personal point of view, I'm really excited about the future of AR, and someone mentioned, the likes of AR Cloud. So when you get that formula of AR Cloud, 5G, and the unbelievable processing powers of, the likes of the Huawei devices and other smartphones, I'm hugely excited for the future of AR.
Jasmine.
Yeah, and I think also the VR would be the first, because now every Chinese telecom company, they have their own cloud VR platforms, and also Huawei ZTE, they are building they're providing the technical solutions for the telecom companies. The telecom company, they first want to show how fast their data transmission can be. So the fast way is to use VR, video especially, to show to the users how fast it can be. Yeah.
Serежа?
Yeah, well, I agree with the previous speakers, so not that much to say, but the only thing I can mention is that I also trying to prepare myself, my company, my studio for the new 5G era, and we're creating all our videos now in 12K and looking for the cameras and technology which can allow us easily to create the content even with a higher resolution. Because all the users we have, all the clients we have, they all complain about the quality of the video. So if you show the client 4K video, they don't believe. If you show them 8K, and more or less it's a little bit better, but still not there yet. So I hope to create high quality content.
Thank you so much to everyone and to every speaker, and thank you to the audience. Спасибо вам большое. Надеюсь, что какие-то вопросы по 5G прояснились. И, в общем, светлое будущее вместе с технологией. Спасибо.